Today is our annual Hobnob Mississippi. It's one of our most fun, relaxed, laid-back events that we do every year. It's really a great opportunity to have a feel for what's happening on the political spectrum. In addition, as is always tradition at Hobnob, all of our statewide elected officials are invited to speak, and all are committed to come, so we should have a full day. We are the Mississippi Economic Council. We're the State Chamber of Commerce. We're a private nonprofit organization that is funded by our business members from all across Mississippi. These are companies that care about what Mississippi's economy is doing, how we are focusing on education, how we're looking at business climate, and all of the things that are important to help Mississippi grow.
MEC is really the state's chamber of commerce. It's the business leaders across our state, and frankly, for our chamber to be successful and for MEC to be successful, we need everybody's participation. We need every business to participate, and with everybody's participation, we'll be a better, stronger state and a better, stronger Mississippi Economic Council.
More so than getting involved in politics, it's getting involved in an advocacy standpoint from policy. And what we focus on at MEC is really what policy is going to make sure that we're doing things to move Mississippi forward. And by that I mean whether we're looking at tax policy. As you know, we just had a special session here in Mississippi that really focused on roads and bridges, a key priority for MEC, for our business leaders across the state. They understand how important a strong transportation system is. We were able to get legislation passed that MEC had been pushing for years that will now put an additional $250 million into our roads and bridges. Now, is that going to solve all our problems? No, but it's going to get us on the path to getting really some things done that need to be done immediately to fix our worst problems and deal with our roads and bridges. It's all about economic development. If you can't move your goods, you can't stay in business, and public safety. We do not want to have bad bridges with school buses crossing them. So all of those things really are what we as business leaders across the state that are involved in MEC are wanting us to focus on. Broad-based issues. We do the research to find out what the need is. We pull these leaders together. Their leadership helps us advocate for that issue to get it across the line.
You look at what's happening in our company, as a bank, we're only as strong as the communities we serve, and the stronger the community becomes, the stronger our bank is, and so that's what MEC is working on, is to improve our economy.
Good morning and welcome to the start of Hobnob, Mississippi. This is our 17th Hobnob at MEC. We're very glad that you're here. It's going to be a great day. But right now I want to have a special thank you. That thank you is to each and every one of you, because at MEC we cannot do what we do without the support of the businesses across Mississippi. We cannot do the things that help us grow our state without your support. And there's two groups of people here that I want to recognize that make sure we're headed down the right path every day at MEC. That's our Board of Governors and our Board of Directors. At this time, if anybody in the audience, I know they're kind of spread out, either stand up, raise your hand. If you serve on one of our boards, we want to take a minute to thank you. If y'all would, please recognize them. And at this time, it is really my honor to introduce the 2018-2019 Chair of the Mississippi Economic Council, Dan Rollins. Dan is Chairman of the Board and Chief Executive Officer of Bancorp South, which is headquartered in Tupelo. He was appointed CEO in 2012 and assumed the role of Chairman in 2014. He has spent over 40 years in the banking industry, a graduate of the University of Texas, but since arriving in Mississippi, he has embraced his role not only with the community, but throughout the state. He's committed to building a better Mississippi, and the work he's doing as chair is allowing us to focus on our economy through improving workforce, infrastructure, our business climate, and our state's image. Please welcome Dan Rollins.
Good morning, welcome everyone. I don't think it's fair to put a community banker up here with all these politicians. We're glad you're here at MEC's 17th annual Hobnob, Mississippi. This is a special event. It lets everyone get together and hobnob, hear from our U.S. Senate candidates, and get insight from our statewide leaders. But more importantly, it also provides a great opportunity to discuss how we, as business and community leaders, can continue to make important strides in creating a stronger Mississippi. Hobnob helps us understand the value of coming together for a common goal, a goal of enhancing opportunities to create a bright future for Mississippi. I want to thank all of our state leaders for coming out today and sharing their thoughts with us. This is a perfect example of how working together we can accomplish great things. By bringing private sector leaders together from all across the state who are focused on long-term strategic agenda, MEC continues to be an organization that is making a meaningful difference for our state. Working with our leadership at the state capitol, we can focus on specific initiatives that will help foster sustainable economic growth throughout Mississippi. As I mentioned at MEC's annual meeting in April, this does not happen by chance. It requires a relentless focus that will result in positive change in economic development, meaningful workforce training, excellence in education, and a strong business climate. That is why the 4 tenets I mentioned earlier, advocacy, resources, research, and leadership, provide the foundation for all we do at MEC. There is no question that we as Mississippians are at our best when we come together to solve a problem. If we are going to move the needle, we must be an organization where everyone has a seat at the table. With your continued support, we can strengthen our position to meet the needs of the statewide business community today and for years to come. Again, we are glad you're here, and I encourage you to stick around for lunch where you can really hobnob. At this time, it's my privilege to introduce Governor Phil Bryant. From the day Phil Bryant was elected the 64th governor of the state of Mississippi, he believed our state could compete with anyone and win. He understands economic development is the key to growing opportunities for our citizens, and he continues to take his role as the state's #1 salesman seriously. He understands in order to attract new jobs, it begins with education and making sure Mississippi students are better prepared. He pushed for the creation of the 3rd grade reading gate, and our students, teachers, and parents have risen to the occasion with drastically improved test scores. He understands innovation is vital if we are going to continue to create additional opportunities, educational opportunities in the state of Mississippi. He understands all Mississippians deserve the chance to gain the skills and knowledge necessary to do the jobs that are here today, as well as be prepared for the jobs of the future. With the creation of the Mississippi Works Fund, money is now being set aside to provide training for the citizens to move into high-skilled, high-paying jobs. But just understanding what we need is only half the battle. He also knows none of this happens without leadership and willingness to bring people together to move our state forward. There's no better example of his leadership than when he sat down with Lieutenant Governor Tate Reeves and Speaker of the House Philip Gunn prior to the recent specialist session to develop the Mississippi Infrastructure Modernization Act. Thanks to this legislation, we will now begin to address some of the most vital needs that exist in Mississippi's transportation system at both the state and local level. Each day, he continues to focus on making Mississippi stronger and more vibrant. Please help me in welcoming our Governor, Phil Bryant.
Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Good afternoon. Wow, you look great out there. Thank you for coming. I was just over there talking with our great Congressman Greg Harper, and I said, you know, Greg, these folks are here to hobnob. I'm not sure they want to listen to us. But I'm going to talk to you anyway because I get to, and I'm governor, and I've got some great things to say. Oh, my God, did you hear that politician earlier that said Mississippi's just failing? We can't seem to do anything. I guess the lowest unemployment in Mississippi's history just doesn't matter if you're a politician, and you got to convince everybody that something's wrong. And then what you do, occasionally you get your friends in the media, well, they will go out and support that. They'll find some statistic out there by somebody from some strange place like Illinois and some professor, and he'll write it and say, Mississippi's just failing, and we'll go, oh, woe is me, there we are. What we need is new leadership. Tell that to the 77,000 Mississippians that have a job now that did not have a job in 2011. Go tell them that. You go tell them they didn't do that. If you got that job, you just didn't do that. If you built that own small business of yours, if you're building 70% of the Navy's warships, if you got 750,000 automobiles that are being manufactured, if you got some of the most advanced telehealth systems in America, no, we don't. We're just old Mississippi. We just can't do that. Well, you heard it. He said, these guys are going to get up there and tell you all the good things that's going on. I'm going to tell you about the labor participation rate, higher than it's ever been. 56%, over 56% of the people in the state of Mississippi are working today. That's called the labor participation rate. About 1.3 million people in the state of 3 million. I don't make these numbers up. I got news for that politician. I'm not running again. I didn't think I was going to be campaigning anymore, but if I keep hearing that, I'm getting on the road. Yeah, I'm going to get back out there and strip some bark. I'm not going to stand by and let any politician criticize what we have accomplished, what you have been able to do. You're the State Chamber of Commerce. So I'm not going to let any politician get up here and say, you're just not doing it. You're not making things happen. You make a lot of things happen. State Chamber of Commerce, and I want to thank you for what you're doing. There's remarkable things have happened in the state of Mississippi. Look at the special session. Oh, I didn't know it was a failure. I thought it was the most successful special session in Mississippi's history. I'm a political scientist. I've been around here a while. I can tell you that worked. When you can put $200 million a year from the state of Mississippi into infrastructure, over $1.1 billion in the next 5 years, along with $1 billion each year that we're putting into it. I had to close 500 bridges. Oh, they said, oh, there he goes again. The governor's closing all these bridges. He just hates rural people. He's just trying to shut down the economy so he can get some bill passed. I was trying to save lives. The responsibility of leadership. The first one is public safety. I didn't want one of our children or a school bus or a dump truck, for that matter, to go over one of those bridges and collapse. So we had to shut them down. Now, we've opened 120 of them since then. We've spent $42 million of the $50 million that the Mississippi legislature appropriated for roads and bridges in March of this year. You don't hear a lot about that. You probably won't. And those statistics that you heard we were going to talk about, well, get ready, because I am. These are from the U.S. Department of Labor. Didn't make them up. Didn't think, well, maybe this sounds really good. Let's pull them out. I want to give you the facts. The reality is income in the state of Mississippi, real wages, in the last fiscal year have gone up 7% according to the Department of Labor in the state of Mississippi. The median household income in Mississippi has grown 3%. Now, I'm not sure that's equal to Alabama. They got 8 million people over there and a fairly good football team. So I guess we're going to have to go to State and Ole Miss and Southern, Jackson State and all the rest of them and say, you boys are failures. You're just not doing as good as Alabama, so you're just failing. No, we're going to compete with Alabama. We're going to compete with Georgia and Tennessee. We've been doing so, and we've been winning. Go ask the people that's going to work at Continental Tire. Go ask them, can't we win in Mississippi? Unemployment insurance premiums have gone down 32% in the state of Mississippi. These are real numbers. I know some people don't like to hear it. It doesn't fit their narrative, but they happen to be the truth. Have the added advantage of being the truth. The percent of Mississippians living below the poverty line decreased by 3%. 3% less people in the state of Mississippi are now not living in poverty. That's why over 100,000 people are off the SNAP benefit rolls. Oh, no, there he is. He's throwing people off of food stamps. No, they're finding jobs. They're going back to great community colleges. They're donating to local charities 20 hours a week. That's a requirement. Don't we want people to find a job? Don't we want them to live the American dream, go back to school, get their associate's degree? We even have a new program called Complete to Compete. So you complete your associate's degree, you complete your bachelor's degree. Over 700 Mississippians now have college degrees that did not a year and a half ago. Those are real numbers. And those people worked hard, so don't tell them they didn't do it. I'm awful proud of them. Individual trade now, international trade is up 33%. It's 33% of our GDP, international trade. I travel all over the world. Just last week in Switzerland, Mississippi, the ambassador of Switzerland sat there in front of an entire group in the ambassador's home of businessmen and women, and he said, this is the governor of Mississippi. They get it. They're working hard. They have an apprenticeship program. They have a community college program that are teaching young men and women to go out and learn a trade and be a technician and get a job. Not my words, but Ed McMahon's words in front of the entire business community of Bern, Switzerland. I was proud to be able to represent Mississippi. ABB, one of the fine companies, I have 4 different locations. They employ 1,100 Mississippians. Nestle buys a lot of our products. They're going to buy more of them. This is how we increase our international trade. A friend here from Israel knows that we'll be traveling there next month. This will be our 4th trip. I'm so excited about what we're doing with our friends in Israel, particularly after the tragic events that occurred in Pittsburgh. I can tell you there's no state, and you can ask the Consul General, no state closer to the fine and wonderful people of Israel than the state of Mississippi. I hear that time and time again. It's something I'm proud of. Israeli Air International, Stark Aerospace, just as we broke ground the other day on the new containers that will make certain that they're ground-to-air missiles that will defend Jerusalem, that will defend the Holy Lands there, as we used to call them. They are making those, manufacturing those systems over in Columbus, Mississippi at Stark Aerospace. The radar systems that protect by providing the David Shield and the Iron Dome there in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem are manufactured by Raytheon, who makes the most advanced radar systems in the world in Forest, Mississippi. Now, I'm not going to take up all your time bragging about the good things that we have. I just showed you. I will talk a little bit more about education. Because one of the things you've got to do is make sure that people in your high schools are graduating from high schools. So our students are graduating now at 83%, the highest percentage of graduation ever in Mississippi's history. That's a real number. Those are real lives with real children. So all I should have to say is I enjoy being governor of the state of Mississippi, who has the lowest unemployment rate and the highest graduation rate in Mississippi's history. Because we do. Because the hard-working parents and the students and the teachers and the principals, because what you have done when we went to work on making sure we had a literacy program, when I said something radical that you just can't be socially promoted to the 4th grade unless you can read on the 3rd grade level, and they went crazy again and said, oh my goodness, he hates children. He's going to hold them back. He's going to destroy their self-esteem. Said, I'm a dyslexic child that repeated the 3rd grade, and I've had some moderate level of success. They'll be okay. Because about 52% of them were passing the 3rd grade reading exam. Last reading exam, 93% of the children in the state of Mississippi passed their 3rd grade reading exam. Those are real numbers with real children and real success. So I'm going to get out of here. Glenn McCullough is here. I want to brag on Glenn and his team at economic development. They work hard. Just this year, we've had $924 million of investment. $924 million just this year that MDA's team has gone out and brought to the state of Mississippi or expanded existing businesses, which we'd rather do. If you want to expand, you come talk to us. We'd rather do that. They've created 4,062 more jobs. Investment, return on investment, businessmen and women that are here, for every dollar invested, we receive $24.85 back. We give them $1, they give us $24.84 for our economy. I'll take that every day. Every day. Now, I can't help thinking my good friend Donald Trump. He was in South Haven with Cindy Hyde Smith, our next United States Senator, not long ago. And he was talking about, yeah, come on, you can applaud to that. Nobody's going to get mad at you. I don't know they're mad at me. I wear that as a badge of honor. I'm standing there with President Trump. He looked, he said, where's Phil? Where's Phil? There he is. Let's get Phil up here. He'll do that to you on occasion. But I can tell you something about this man. I know him. I know his heart. I know how he cares about this country and the people in it. I know how Jared Kushner, my friend, and Ivanka, who was here just a week ago in Mississippi, how their hearts broke over what happened in the synagogue in Pittsburgh. I know how it feels to be lied about and attacked and bullied. I'm not good at being bullied. But I hope this political climate that we now see, where it seems like that everyone's going to accuse their opponent of the worst possible things you can think of, run advertisements, get it all over social media, or are they going to tell you that reality is not reality, that everybody's really failing and the only way to save it is to elect them? Let's talk about the issues. Talk about what's important to working Mississippians. Greg Harper is going to come up here in just a moment, and he's worked hard for a decade in Washington, D.C. I'm proud of him. I'm proud I didn't have to go. But I can tell you what, Greg Harper's going to be recognized for his hard work. And after that, Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith, the first woman ever to serve in the United States Congress from the state of Mississippi. Now, I've got a wife. She's here somewhere. I tell you what, where's the first lady? There she is. There she is. Give her a hand. Sit down, baby. Greatest first lady in Mississippi. I'm not hurting anybody's feelings. It's one of the best first ladies in Mississippi's history. Let me tell you, that's the hardest unpaid job in the state, and she does a remarkable job at it. So y'all go over there and give her a hug. But I think having the first woman United States Senator from Mississippi is going to be really good. I've got a wife and a daughter, and both of them are A-type personalities. Both of them probably do a better job being governor than I have. And this young lady you're going to hear from in just a minute has worked her heart and soul out at being a United States Senator. We're going to make sure she continues to do so. I want to thank you again, MEC, for what you did during the special session, what you have done when we come to you every time about public education and moving this state forward. You haven't failed. Mississippi's not failing. We are rising. And we are going to rise together. God bless you all. God bless Mississippi, and God bless the United States of America.
There's no question that we have been focused on trying to find a solution to improving our roads and bridges across the state. We were able to come together and in less than 5 days pass 3 pieces of legislation that's going to provide almost $200 million a year, over $1 billion in a short period of time to help fix our roads and bridges across the state. It's critically important because if you can't get workers to and from work, or if you can't get the product produced to and from the marketplace, then it doesn't matter how good your businesses are in the state. And so this is a core function of government and one that we're very glad that we were able to find a solution to.
The MEC's top 2 priorities last year was finding a new school funding formula and to find a solution, a stream of revenue for our roads and bridge issues. The House of Representatives handled both of those issues, passed them both within the first 3 weeks of the session. So my message today was just to letting them know that the House of Representatives delivered on the 2 issues that were the most important to them. We stand ready to take on the tough issues. We stand ready to do what's best for the citizens of the state. We did not allow politics or personal agendas to enter in, and just wanted to remind them of those things in case they forgot.
I think we're obviously going to focus on our financial status. That's something that's critical every single year, and we do a budget every single year. And so we've seen revenue growth in our state right now, which is something we should all be very proud of. We're going to collect more money in revenue this year than we've ever collected in the history of our state. And so I think that's obviously going to be very important, and we'll continue to develop our agenda as we get closer to the legislative session.
The House of Representatives, there are 2 items that we are advancing. One is a focus on human trafficking. That is an issue that is growing. It is a scourge on our society. We feel like we want to take some measures to try to tighten up what we're doing in Mississippi. We've done a pretty good job in the past of staying ahead of this issue, but there are some things that we can do to improve and protect our children. So we are going to make that a focus. Another item is school protection, trying to protect our children against anything that would do them harm. So those are two big issues that I think we in the House are planning to take on.
As we look at 2019, on the state level, we want to continue to focus our attention to how we improve our workforce development, look for new ways. The legislature has done a great job of making sure we're putting additional dollars into programs that make workforce development training programs available for businesses coming into the state, as well as businesses who are looking to expand and add jobs. So all of those things are part of that process. So we'll continue to look at that. We'll also make sure we're following all those other things that have an impact on our business climate. Everything we try to do is focus on legislation that's going to make sure we are improving our economic competitiveness to bring jobs and keep jobs here in Mississippi.
I think it's critically important that our business community is engaged. It's critically important that the Mississippi Economic Council is involved in the process because who knows better what job creators need than the job creators themselves. And so it's something that we certainly work very hard with Scott and his team to make sure that they have a seat at the table. We're not going to agree on every single thing. That's part of the legislative process. Nobody agrees on every single thing, but we certainly, they have a seat at the table, and we've worked very closely with them to enact an awful lot of policies that are critically important to the future of Mississippi.
Any business that cares about the state of Mississippi should be part of MEC because of the initiatives that we focus on and the things we do. There's a lot of value in membership. Today's a perfect example. Today is a chance to not only hear from our politicians, but the name of this event says it all. Hobnob is a chance to come and see folks, other business leaders from all across Mississippi that will be here and quote, hobnob, visit with them. That's part of what we do is we provide those opportunities. So in terms of the value of it, general admission for today's event is $90, but if you're an MEC member, you get in for $60. So there are some savings, there are some things that are beneficial to you to be part of our organization. And I think as we move forward, one of the things we have to focus on is making sure we build this statewide approach to our business community that we're focused on how we move Mississippi forward.
What type of a role does MEC play in helping develop public policy for Mississippi?
Well, they kind of the business voice of the state. They advance all types of policy issues as it pertains to economics and business development, job creation, and attracting business. So we stay in close contact with them throughout the year, not just during the session. They do a good job of advancing the voice of Mississippi.
Even before I joined MEC, this was always one of my favorite events to attend because there's no question it's not as formal as you see. I don't even have a tie on today. You really get a chance to just have fun, relax. We've always had peanuts at this event. This year we're adding popcorn, so I just encourage anybody that's part of this to get your peanuts, get your popcorn, and enjoy the show.
If people have questions, like more information, what should they do?
Very simple. Our website is simply mec.ms. That's mec.ms, and it will give you all the information that you need.